I get to have all the fun moderating today. Good to see you all here, as you just heard, with the founder of Barstool Sports. I just asked Dave backstage, how do I introduce you? And he was like, I don't care. Well, the problem is the guy's done so much that I had this like introduction that was 3 paragraphs, and I didn't want to waste any time with that. I wanted to get right into the questions. Dave, thanks for being here.
Of course.
It's good to have you. What's in your wallet right now? What do you own in terms of crypto?
Bitcoin, XRP, and ETH.
Why do you own each one?
Bitcoin, too big to fail. I think that will continue to go up, and it's just a good investment to have. XRP, I don't even have a straight answer on that. I've met Brad Gnarlinghouse a bunch. He's a Miami guy. I like the price. I've had consistent FOMO about missing out on, and I know Bitcoin, the price, all the Bitcoin people, the price you get is the price you deserve. Like, I get all that. I feel FOMO with Bitcoin. I had it, I don't know, 8,000, 9,000, sold it. So XRP at 240, it's like, ooh, this is low. I can get in on this. And they have a good army. They have a good Bitcoin. I mean, XRP has a good army online. ETH, well, Eric Trump's like, you better buy ETH. And if a Trump says buy it, I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Are you up on ETH? I don't know.
I am up now because it's gone skyrocketed the last week.
So, oh man, this can be fun. I'm so excited. I don't know where to go. All right, so those
and jail stool.
That's where I was going to go. You got
yeah, they're everywhere.
Some jail stoolies here, also called El Presidente.
Yeah, well, that started as me saying you're an idiot if you buy it, like I'll never sell it, and it went nuclear. But yeah, people are saying for me doing meme coins, I should be in prison. So someone created that to say Dave's going to prison. I tweeted it out and it went berserk.
So I don't get it. I don't get meme coins. That was part of why I was excited to be here and talk to you, because you have greater sway over the younger community than anyone I can think of. And a lot of them are really into these meme coins. One of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life was years ago. This may have even been pre-COVID or during COVID, you talking about SafeMoon, and you put out the video about SafeMoon. Those of you who don't remember, the gist of it was, I have no idea what the hell this thing is. It clearly has no value in the world. And there's like a video, I think you had like an astronaut helmet on, and he said, nonetheless, I'm gonna buy it to the moon. And I thought, wow, this guy and I we're kindred spirits. Neither one of us get meme coins. And then in prepping for today, you've kind of stayed with meme coins in one way or the other. There was the Libra token. We want to hear you talk about that. There's jail stool. There's Greed 1. There's Greed 2. You tell us when Greed 3 is coming.
Yeah, a lot of people expect that.
What the hell is going on in meme coin land? Help those of us in the room who are like granddad here.
Yeah.
What's driving this?
FOMO. You can make money quickly. There's an element. So when I bought SafeMoon, I would see, I'm chronically online, and you see all these people, it's up 9 billion%, and they're flying around in planes, and like, I'm making all this money, and I'm working. It's like, what the hell? I want to make money like this too. So this was almost the first explosion of meme coins. So I picked SafeMoon out of a hat, picked that one, ended up in a class action lawsuit. They basically said, SafeMoon paid me to promote them, total lie. Cost me 20 grand to get out of the lawsuit. They're like, oh, he got taken like everybody else. And then meme coins exploded more, and I had to basically get involved. Basically, I was interested in creating a coin for Barstool. I thought, they're legalizing it. Really, when Trump did his coin, I'm like, okay, this seems like a good way almost to go public without having to do the paperwork. And I started researching it, getting involved. In meme coins, I think, always have stayed true. It's a form of gambling. It's a Ponzi scheme. And I don't say that in a negative way, but you need people buying it. And every time somebody's making money, someone's probably losing money, which is fine. I gamble, I enjoy it. But you got to make sure people know that's what they're doing. I've tried to be very clear with that. But for younger people, it's an exciting way, I think, to make money quickly. I mean, that sounds pretty straightforward, but that's it. Now, for me, meme coins, as I've gotten more into it, I do think there's a collective group of people who are rigging, I don't want to say rigging, but they have algorithms, they have copy trading wallets, and they're making money every single time. And if you're late to the game, you're losing money. So it's the same group of winners, and it's the same group of losers. So I want to say retired, like, the whole thing fascinated me with greed 1, greed 2, because people kept coming at my throat, being like, Dave, you're a rug puller, you belong in prison. I'm like, I'm telling you guys what I'm doing. The name of the coin is greed. I'm not gonna make money on it. It's for greedy people. And people made money, people lost, and the people who lost still are like, I hate you, you should be in prison. And at some point, even I was like, you know what, the backlash is not worth it. But I have an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other. I love the rush of it. I'm at nature a gambler, and there is nothing quite like seeing a meme coin. When Jail Stool, I think I put in a couple $100, $1,000. I was up $7 million in an hour. And I was like, what the hell is going on? It took me, to make $7 million with Barstool, it took me 13 years, and I'm up. I
actually don't know the story of Jail Stool. I know the other ones. Can you tell us the story of Jail Stool? How did it come to be?
So
you didn't launch Jail Stool.
No, I did not. I was researching meme coins. I'm like, what after the Trump one, I just started paying attention. What is this world? Can I do a Barstool coin? So I think there was some reality show that went viral, and someone created a meme coin for the reality show. I bought it, put in $100, made 1,000 in a second. I'm like, what is this world? And then I talked about one. I said I bought it. I tweeted, hey, I just bought this, and I made, I don't know, another couple $1,000. People got mad that I sold it. They're like, how could you sell this? You dumped on people. I'm like, it's a meme coin. Like, what do you expect to happen? And everyone's coming at me. Someone created Jail Stool. They're like, Dave should be in jail for dumping on people. So I retweeted Jail Stool. And I said, all you people, shut up. This coin's probably gonna go to nothing. I'm never gonna sell it, but I'm gonna show you how hypocritical you are because somebody else is gonna dump on you. And that was it. And I think it got to, what was the market cap of Jail Stool? It was maybe 50 million, maybe 100. I don't even remember what it was. But I'm telling you, I was quite literally up $7 million. I was sitting at the Super Bowl where there's all these parties that I'm invited to, and I was just sitting in my apartment watching it go up. I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And I said I'd never sell it. I never have. It's come back down. But that was really when I got into meme coins. I have a weakness for what I consider very funny, like memes. I love the internet. I love Bitcoin. I love seeing viral memes and things making videos. And the meme coin community is the best at it. They're also crazy. They're also toxic, but it's like a wild, wild west of making money. And it's legal. Like, they've made that very clear. It's legal.
I don't want to leave. I planned on moving to other topics. This is too much fun. Can you tell us the Libra story? So I just want to add one note. CoinDesk, our brand and our host here at the conference, broke a story that Hayden, the guy who put it together, had texted the sister-in-law, the sister had texted someone and said, I'm close in, sort of implying maybe a relationship with the sister of the president of a G20 country, Argentina, and I'll get him to do anything I want. That got my attention. So I'm very interested in Libra, how it came to be with you.
Yeah, and this is a very Barstool, very Dave story, like that I went from not really knowing what meme coins were, and then 2 weeks later, I was sort of involved in like the biggest scandal probably in meme coin history. So I wanted to create a coin for Barstool, as I've said, but I didn't want it to tank on people. So I'm exploring, how do I do this? I don't know how to make a coin. I know how to do it on Pump Fund. I don't know how to do it on Pump Fund where you can prevent a crash. So actually, a guy did a podcast with Josh Richards. He's like, hey, I know this guy. He knows how to make meme coins. Hayden Davis. Let me introduce you. So I spent a week and a half, hours with Hayden Davis, peppering him with every question you could ever have, like trying to make sure this guy's real. I actually said, if you're going to launch my coin, we're going to be handcuffed to each other, because I don't want to be one of those guys like, oh, the guy who created it ran away. So it's going well. And what he was saying was making sense to me. Now, he did tell me that this is deep in Memecoin. He's like, when it launches, we will snipe our own coin. So you'll buy a lot of the supply when the thing's rocketing. And then what he said, with the money we make, when it starts dipping, you rebuy it. So that keeps the price up. Made sense to me. So I was ready to launch. He's like, I just got to go quick to Argentina and launch this coin with the president of Argentina. And then we'll come back and we'll launch your coin. I was like, all right, great. And he's telling me about this coin, Libra. And he said the president was Malay. He's like, he's in. This is going to be a life-changing thing for Argentina. He wants to work with you, Dave. He likes like some of the things you've said. I'm like, all right, I am in. And by the way, this coin's going to go to the moon. I thought I was going to make $100 million on this coin. So he goes, and a couple things happen. First, they sent me free coins from Malay in exchange for tweeting about the launch. And I said, all right, yeah, I'll take the coins, but I'm going to say you gave me the coins. I can't say, hey, there's this great thing with not disclosing that. They said you can't disclose it. Thankfully, I sent the coins back. I'm like, if you're gonna, I can't take them if I'm not gonna say I'm involved. I put my own money into it because I thought it was gonna go nuts. I spent, I think, $4.5 million buying Libra. I'm at Saturday Night Live. It's their, what was it, their 50th anniversary special, music, and I'm watching the Libra launch, and this thing's going backwards. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm texting Hayden during it. I'm like, buddy, what is going on? He's like, don't worry, he's in on it. He's gonna mention that he's gonna double down and things are gonna go back up. He told me Elon was gonna tweet about it. So I'm like, this thing's gold. Well, turns out Malay says it has nothing to do with him. And it crashed, it became this huge scandal. 1 second Malay said, I endorse it. The next he said, I have nothing to do with it, and I lost all my money. Now where people hate me, Hayden gave me the money back. That night, he's like, I didn't mean this to happen. He sent me back the money I bought. I don't know if it was to try to still launch my coin or whatever it was. To this day, what Hayden said happened, what I just described, where he said he'd snipe the coin and put the money back in with Barstool, he said they didn't let him put the money back in. So they snipe the coin, it tanks, and they don't redo it. Whether that's true or not, who knows? It's the luckiest thing that has happened to me in the sense I was an inch away from being like, Barstool backs this coin, because I thought it was real, but it's a crazy, crazy world. And people, by the way, have forgotten about this incident to me, which is bananas. You had the president of a country endorse a meme coin and then say he had nothing to do with it 2 hours later, and people kind of forgot. The money's gone, I don't know what. But people are mad because I explained the whole story, and the trenchers, God love them, hate me because he gave me the money back, and I'm always like, well, what would you do? Be like, no, dude, I don't want your money back? It's like, I lost 4.5, and he gave it back to me. Yeah, I got it back. I'm one of the lucky ones, but you know, I'm not going to not take that money back.
Do you realize how nuts this all is?
It's crazy.
Like, this is batshit crazy.
Listen, I was at SNL, Lady Gaga. I was just typing. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It was terrible.
I can't stop. Greed too. Just a quick. This is so much fun.
So I launched Greed again to kind of be like, show how hypocritical. I don't like when trenchers complain that they lose. Like, you know what you're getting involved in mostly, for the most part. You're an idiot if you don't. I say on my coins, this could go to zero.
Can I, sorry, interrupt?
Yes.
Why do they keep coming back? Because I agree with what you said, that this world, what you're describing, it's gambling, and it's like going to a casino. But we were talking backstage about, you know, the odds on the Knicks, and it was plus 125. I know if I bet this, I get that. I know who the house is. It's transparent. As you said, this world, there's certain people, they make money. They launch these things. You don't know what the tokenomics is. They lie about who's endorsing it for what reasons. And then everyone else comes, and the chances are you're going to lose money. Every once in a while, you can make money. Why do they keep coming back?
Well, first of all, I think of a lot of people, there's professionals who are doing it, probably with a million different accounts, and they are making money. Like I look, that's why I stopped launching them. I try to look who's made the money, and it's the same early algorithms, copy traders, and they're just creating almost noise out there. So you can't tell the real people from the false. But I mean, you will hit the jail stool or the fart coin, which I mean that's all you have to know. Like fart coin. I mean, come on. But these coins, you can make real big money. I mean, you even look at like Dogecoin, like it was a dog. So there are some that make it, and for very little investment, you can make a ton of money.
So go on with greed. I cut you.
So greed, I was almost caught up. I was making unbelievable hype videos. And I actually said with Jail Stool at one point, like I was telling people, any coin I launch outside of Jail Stool, I'm gonna dump on you and I'm gonna put it back in Jail Stool. I was telling people I was going to do that. And by the way, I never take anything out from Jail Stool. So Greed 1 launched, it went big, and then it started crashing like they all do. So it had crashed, it was 75% off its high. I sold it, put it into Jail Stool. Dave, rug puller, Dave's the worst. I was like, all right, here's Greed 2. You guys who are saying it's the worst, you're gonna buy it again, aren't you? It didn't go as high, but they bought it, and I'm just addicted to the rush and the memes. So Greed 3 is something that I've been teasing for, I actually even teased it. I'm like, watch out, I could launch Greed 3 up here. But then the smart part of me is like, is it worth the hate? Because real life, who's the guy? Jeremy Dan, absolutely hate him. He's a trencher. Came up to me in a casino in Vegas. He's like, you cost me 200 grand. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've said everything, and I don't want those headaches. I don't need, it's all fun and games, I guess, behind the computer, but that reinforces people are losing and making real money, and they're not always taking responsibility for the risk, even though I think they should. So
headline will be Dave Portnoy does not launch Greed 3 at Consensus.
Yes, I believe that will be. As much as when I say it, I mean it. And then I just look at my mentions of everyone being like, put him in prison and he's a rug puller. Like I did something of the Kentucky Derby which I thought was a very interesting, real meme coin test. I created a coin for every horse in the race. That theoretically is a way for people to bet on the Kentucky Derby through meme coins. And people hate, he's doing 21 rug pulls at this. I didn't make anything. It's like, if the horse that wins, I thought it would go nuclear. There's a lot of hate out there.
Do you think of yourself almost as a bit of a performance artist?
A little. I mean, I am. I
mean, you're kind of, I don't mean this negatively at all, but like you're mocking in some ways the absurdity of the meme coin world.
Oh, I was 100% doing that.
Okay.
And I was saying I was doing that.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me at heart that is a trencher, that is a gambler, that loves the rush. I get why people like it. I'm in an unusual situation because I'm the house. Like if I launch a coin, I've used this example, if you watch the old Price is Right and the yodeler, they're going up. I know when the yodeler's gonna fall off the cliff. Now, I don't sell it anymore, but that is what's so crazy about meme coins.
The house controls
the house controls, and they're essentially, in a weird way, letting, like if you wanna get licensed to be a gambling site, you gotta go through all this regulation. You can create your own little gambling world like that, like the snap of your fingers.
You think it's here to stay?
I can't imagine it's here to stay. I think it's here to stay for the next 4 years. What happens after that? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, what do you think of regulators in DC?
I mean, I'm never a regulator fan, but I wouldn't say I wake up, I'm like, screw the regulators. I mean, some things need regulations. I'm generally free will. So I don't have a strong
I just remember a couple times where you know, you had the buzz index, and I remember the regulators kind of came after you for what you were saying. You were giving them a hard time. I mean, do you think the regulators are awake in Washington?
I think it's become a lot less. So yeah, that was Buzz was a ETF.
Yeah, a cannabis-based ETF, cannabis stock.
No, it was.
Am I confusing the two?
Yeah, the Buzz was essentially. So I did something called DDTG when COVID started, which was a stock show, and essentially it was an ETF. It had software that would, which I thought made sense. It would track positive sentiment for stocks, and it would put them in a mutual fund. And that was that. But I was very clear. I didn't make any money on that either, but I did have to turn my phone and all my information over to the SEC to investigate whether I did anything wrong, which I didn't. But I guess there's a degree of, see, I go back and forth. Because like the trenchers, they don't need protection from the SEC. They need protection from themselves. So it varies on how I feel.
So, you're from Boston, I'm from New York. Hopefully this won't exclude too much of the audience, but I genuinely think at this point, and prayers up to Jason Tatum, I think the Knicks are a better basketball team than the Celtics. And I'm going to give, you're going to have the floor. I won't interrupt. You're going to have the floor. I won't interrupt.
But just clarify, you're saying without Tatum.
Without Tatum.
Yeah.
And with Porzingis, who, again, prayers up to him. He looks like he's on death's door. I think they're a much better team, and I don't think the Celtics have a real chance in hell in winning both games. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll start it by our quick conversation that we had backstage when you said, I think the Celtics were lucky last night. They won by 40. So maybe take a grain of salt. I mean, the Knicks got to say what the Knicks got to say. Obviously, it stinks that Tatum's out. The Knicks are, for the most part, most of my life, a joke franchise. So it's irrational confidence to say honestly, the Celtics don't have a chance to win 2 games in a row. We won last night by 40. I think it's a 2-point line. The Knicks are favored by 2 at home, which says Vegas thinks the Celtics are better. Wouldn't shock me if the Knicks won, but if I was betting, I would still bet on the Celtics to win the series. I already have it, so I'm not going to redo it. But
I really do feel terrible for Jason Tatum. Terrible. 27, 28, hard worker, good guy. That's terrible. One more Boston sports story that fascinates me. I really got into this, like when we all work hard and then you take a break and you hit ESPN. I got really into the Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson, his girlfriend. Those of you who don't know, Bill Belichick, like the greatest coach ever, and known for being very private, very serious, and never saying anything that could generate undue media attention, is dating a 24-year-old young lady who's slowly but surely taking over his life.
Yeah. I didn't expect this on the consensus bingo card, by the way.
What's up with that?
It's an interesting relationship, Hughes and Miss Maine. I know, I always preface this, I know both of them. They both spend their summers in Nantucket, where I do, and I do not want to have Jordan in my face while I'm carrying a watermelon out of Stop and Shop. So, I hope the 2 kids do great. I'll leave it at that. It's an interesting relationship. It's caught the world by storm. Like, you're not the only, everyone's talking about it. It's a very interesting dynamic. You're not known for being circumspect. Well, yeah, I'm a little frightened by her, if we're being honest. So it's like, I want to keep everything cordial. A story that generated some news, but not a ton of news. Dave owns a number of bars under the Barstool name, and we've all seen examples of anti-Semitism on college campuses recently. Kanye released a song, I think it's called Hitler or Hail Hitler, something of that nature. And then you had an incident at your bar. Maybe you could share it if you're comfortable doing so. I'm just curious, like, if you have a view on what's going on there? Like, what's driving this? And is this something that's the new normal? Because it's definitely been an increasing number of anti-Semitic episodes. Yeah, I certainly hope it's not the new normal. The instance you're talking about, we have 4 bars in Philly. You bottle service. You get you bottle of vodka, champagne, whatever. You can get a sign. Somebody in our bar had "fuck the Jews" on the sign. I went ballistic, drove me crazy. I'm Jewish. Clearly, what's going on in the Middle East, and I think a lot of what's happening is convoluting what's going on there was just pure anti-Semitism. Like I've said, if that sign said in our bar, Free Palestine, I wouldn't have liked it in the sense, I don't want political statements in our bar. I would not have fired anybody, I would not have kicked out, you're entitled to your things. Fuck the Jews, you're talking about me, you're talking about my parents, all of it. And I just think it's being normalized and being mixed. I've also said, I think a lot of protesters, I've been doing Barstool for 20 years. So we've been through, in the States, Occupy Wall Street, which was Occupy Boston, then Me Too, Black Lives Matter. Now this is the cause du jour. And all these causes have legitimate reasons, and intelligent minds can disagree, agree on different things. And then you have serial protesters, serial agitators who just hate, I guess, what they consider the norm, and they are going to rabble-rouse. Like the same people would be at all these protests. So it gets all mixed together. But in terms of anti-Semitism, if you said 3 to 4 years, Dave, you're going to be fighting this, like you'll be a face of it. Like I was doing a pizza review today in Toronto. Somebody just drove by, fuck the Jews. It's like, what the fuck is that?
That happened today?
Today. That's how normal it's becoming, and it's why I'm speaking out about it. I want everybody to get along. I don't have great answers for the Middle East, and not many people have for thousands of years. But again, I can intelligently disagree and understand a lot of points of views over there versus just being like, fuck a group of people. Yeah. So I think it's so normal. You hear the Hitler song from Kanye, who Kanye sucks. I've hated him forever. I actually have a tweet that I was a league leader. I hated Kanye before it was cool to hate Kanye and nuts. But people sit around and it becomes normalized. Like when this happened today, there was a group of high school kids behind me watching the pizza review, and they're a fan of me, and they all started like laughing, and there was no hate in their heart, but it's like normalized. So that's why I've spoken up and tried to be, because it's not normal, and I think there's a lot more that we have in common, regardless of race, religion, creed, than against. So I just think the two issues, because it's awful. Nobody wants people to die anywhere, but especially Middle East, wherever. But that doesn't mean like fuck the Jews. Like I don't know. So it bothers me greatly. Not even because I'm not overly religious. Like I got bar mitzvahed, haven't been in temple a lot, but that's my family. That's my grandparents. So I think it's gotten to a point I felt like I had to stand up and like, hold on a little bit. Like I get you can differ, but you think about what you're saying here.
I just want to add on that very important topic that I thought you handled it great. For those of you who don't know, the sign is about yay big, and the letters were about this big, and it was carried in the restaurant. So this was not a minor thing or a hidden thing. It was out there. It was grotesque. And Dave responded he spoke to the perpetrators and offered on his own dime for them to go to Auschwitz, as opposed to him excoriating them or putting them on blast, which, I love that. I loved it, because if you measured me by my worst moments when I was 21 years old, you wouldn't find any fuck the Jews signs, but you'd find stuff that I seriously regretted, and so I appreciated that. But do you mind telling what happened?
So I did offer that because of what you said. To me, it is something that'll stick with you. One of the main perpetrators, his name is Mohammed Khan, turns out to be just the most vile human who ever lived. And forget anti-Semitism. He's throwing buckets of water on homeless people. He's spitting on people on a bench sleeping. Turns out he runs a webcam business, drug dealer. Though it works. In a weird way, it's like a gift. So and he turned around, he took no responsibility for it, none. So I put his name in lights and tried to be like, these are the type of people who do that stuff. Like, this is a bad person who's bringing this sign into the bar. This is when you're like, fuck the Jews, anti-Semitism. Is this what you want to be? And again, I think there should be more talking, and I'm sure there's anti-Semitic people who actually like me, and hopefully I'm turning a couple minds to be like, really, it's that bad? We've gone to a society where somebody, not only it's on our bar, that somebody thought they could order that at a bar, that it ends up on the sign. There was one person who fought back on it, but it's just become too normalized. Like even the drive-by today. Can you imagine another group like that you could just yell that out the window and people are laughing? So
Crazy.
Crazy. I've been doing Barstool for 20 years. I feel like I have very thick skin. I personally, and I think there's a clear difference, have poked fun at every type of person in the world, including Jews, whatever, harmless, clear. I can tell the difference between hate and just normal. I haven't seen anything like what the last year and a half has been in the 20 years of doing this. And it is eye-opening, and hopefully it just opens eyes. Again, I can't believe, like, I'm talking about it. If you said 3 years ago, Dave, you're going to be talking about it, like, you're crazy. Why would I do that? It's not what I do. But, you know, somebody has to step up.
There's no way to smoothly transition from that.
No.
I'm going to move to pizza.
We went from Belichick and his girlfriend to anti-Semitism.
I told you I was going to ask the things I was interested in. So I told you, I think the Knicks are better. That's one thing I think New York's at. The only other thing that I would say, I married a girl from Boston. I'm a taxpayer in Mass. My best friends are from Boston. The other thing is pizza. How in the hell have you become the guy in the pizza world globally with your one bite pizza review? A guy from Massachusetts. How did this happen?
You can say Jewish guy from Massachusetts. The Italians, they offer, yeah. It's So it started as myself and Dan Katz, Big Cat, who works for us. We just had a debate, I don't know, 12, 13 years ago. If you could eat one food the rest of your life, what would it be? He said burritos. He was going breakfast burrito angle. And I said pizza. And then we're like, well, let's see how long we can do that. So for a month, I ate just pizza. And people started asking, is it any good? I'm like, let me give you a one-bite score and rank it. In Barstool, what I'm pretty good at is realizing what hooks with our audience. People wanted more and more of the pizza. And how I became an expert, I just have done it every day for 10 years. So, and my taste is on to the general public, but there is no doubt that pizza, if you said, Dave, what's your best area of influence? It's pizza. Like, people live by my pizza ranking. So we gave out our first 9 since 2023 in New York just like 2 days ago. Big review.
So thank you all for being here. I'm not done. But for those of you who have been sitting there going, why the hell isn't Tom a crypto guy? Why isn't Tom asking about crypto? Let me bring it full circle before we leave the stage. And my apologies, but I'm a fan. These are the sorts of things I wanted to hear about. Let's go back to crypto. Bitcoin, XRP, ETH, those are in your wallet. Are you excited about digital assets as an industry because you think, you know, blockchain technology is interesting, you know, or are you really just into it because you like trading, you're a trader, and they move and they're volatile and it's in the zeitgeist and it's part of your media business?
Yeah, it started off strictly, I would say, because I was excited by the volatility and the gains and what's going on with it. You know, and I'm talking about Bitcoin in specific. I do think what happened recently with like tariffs and Trump, and I know that's one of the big things about Bitcoin is you should be independent of like government decisions and what happens there because it's its own currency. So I do think there's validity to that. But I also think 99% of the people who own Bitcoin are in it to make money and look at it as a commodity. And even when the stock market tanks, for the most part, it follows. It's been lockstep. So it's a combo. But I do love the blockchain. Like the blockchain, I think, has a lot of great utility. And so there's different concepts I would never even think of. Like we were talking to somebody before, like a used car, like being on the blockchain with like sales facts so you actually see everywhere it's been. So there's utility that I would never think about. But it's still, at my heart, I am involved as like trading a commodity.
Got it. Well, look, you were all here for Dave not launching Greed 3, as well as in general, a great conversation. So I'd appreciate it if you can give him an extra loud applause. Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool Sports.
Thank you.